Welcome back to the Life of Tashmia. I'm Tash. Today we're excited to welcome Fran Camargo, a passionate sound healer and founder of Tepuy, an eco-conscious brand dedicated to creating sustainable home essentials. Fran is also the creator of Kura, a sacred space for healing and personal transformation. Through her journey, she has found a beautiful balance between running a purpose-driven business and staying rooted in her spiritual practices. We'll be diving into how she weaves mindfulness, sustainability, and empowerment into everything she does. Fran, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So, what inspired you to start Tepuy?
Well, Tepuy was part of my healing journey. 2019, I was in a process. I was going through, I had a bacteria in my gut, and then I was very sick for quite 3 years. And I went to Nepal, and this is where Tepuy and the sound healing comes together, because it was from an application, visa application. I went to Nepal and I decided to do the sound healing course in Nepal, which is the singing, the Nepali singing bowls is one of the highest vibration of sound. I spent a week there, and in Nepal is where I got a bacteria from eating buffalo meat. And now I understand that Nepal, as India and Bali and all these countries, is a big portal of healing. But back in the days, I had no idea what was happening with me. Through this journey of chronic pain, and I wasn't able to eat a lot of things for a very long time, I dived myself into meditation and sound healing. And then I was writing the business plan for Tepuy. So it was truly my healing journey.
Just to explain to people who might not know what sound healing is, like what is sound healing basically?
Wow. Sound healing for me, it's so many things. It's aligned with so many things, but in working the body, what happens with sound healing is the frequency. It aligns the frequency of the body, the cell's frequency. So sound healing brings you to a very deep state of calmness. It helps with anxiety, depression. But what is really impressive for me, and then why I work with sound healing, is to see that when you meditate, it's very hard to meditate, right? So many people come to me and say, wow, it's so hard. But when you guide a group of people on a sound journey, 10 minutes, you get everyone in a very deep state of relaxation. So this is what happened to the body. You align the cells. It works in the cells levels.
There's a lot of like scientific studies showing the effectiveness of sound healing now. Like I've been following along with it, and I even downloaded an app from an American scientist who created sound waves. So you can listen to sound waves for different, like anxiety, as you said, depression, sleeping well, creativity, and I listen to one or two every day now, and it's like I've noticed such a big difference.
Yeah, 100%.
It's amazing the impact of sound. What was the impact of sound for your healing? Like, did it play a big role in feeling better or?
Oh, 100%. I had chronic pain in my gut, and then in my stomach because I had a lot of intolerance. Having a bacteria bad guy, because we have a lot of bacteria, right? So we call this a bad guy. When you have a bad guy on your gut, it eats all your good guys. So I had a lot of intolerances, and with intolerances, there is nothing you can do about it. Doctors, I went to many different doctors, and they're not able to say, oh, you have this medication and you're gonna heal yourself. So sound healing really brings me back to my true self, to my higher self, the connection that the body can heal itself. And this is what the sound healing helps to regulate the cell's frequency. Because nowadays, cancer is one of the biggest things, right?
And it's increasing.
And then sound healing, this is what the sound healing does. Regulates the frequency, the levels of our cells. So it's proved, it's science, it's beautiful. So when I was going through chronic pain, and I wasn't working for more than a year, I was playing. And then I was obviously getting out of my mind, because we fear when we are sick, we fear a lot of things. We don't know what's going to happen next. So I was bringing the sound healing through my everyday life. Till now, I was driving here and I was listening to sound healing, because it's something for me that really brings me out of my mind.
That's so beautiful, but also, you said, cancer and cells and things. And as I said, cancer is on the rise. We haven't got it right. Something's not working, but also gastrointestinal problems are on the rise. I'm like you. I've had a lot of intolerances my whole life. I have to be very careful with the diet. You go to a doctor, they say IBS, which means I have no idea what the hell you have. And then you go on restrictions and things like that. And now I've started seeing an integrative GP, and it's more looking at things like meditation, sound healing, like all those things. I was doing those before anyway, but we've just reintroduced actually hypnotherapy for my gut. That's to help my gut symptoms, not to be like, people think that's maybe strange, but it's like, no, these things are actually how we heal ourselves. It's not
because the gut is really connected to our mind. And hypnotherapy is amazing. I've done hypnotherapy as well back in the days. And hypnotherapy is something that really shifts your belief. It's a very deep level. So it's beautiful. 100%, I would say, I'm so sorry, I don't want to go against of science or anything, don't get me wrong. I think things works together, but what really helped me through my journey was medicine, was ayahuasca, was all this process of sound and a lot of meditation, and not to be out of there just for opinions, because what makes us confused is a lot of opinions, and then we get we get lost. We don't know what to do. But yeah, intolerance is a big thing nowadays.
Yeah, I've done psilocybin journeys, and it's interesting, but that sound has also been a big part of that for me too. And my therapist who I do it with, who I've seen for like 9 years, the first playlist we put together, I did half, she did half. And this time I'm like, I want you to do it. And it was really interesting watching my journey this time move through the sound that was on. Like there was a lot of, tribal meditation music, or monks and things like that, or bowls. And actually this one track came on. I stopped. And because it's called Metamorphosis. If people can probably look it up. It's on Spotify. It's very powerful. And it's this man who then starts speaking about the universe and things that are happening. And it was literally speaking just that I'd had that in my journey. And I was like, what? It was like he was in my brain, and it came on at just the right time in my journey. And I'm like, sound is very powerful, especially if you couple that with like plant medicine and doing those things. It shakes you to your core.
It's about alignment. It's alignment.
Yeah.
If I would say a word for sound healing, it's alignment.
That's beautiful. So I'm going to say it wrong again, Tepuy? Tepuy.
Tepuy.
So what was your kind of reasoning to creating it? Like you'd been unwell. Was it to decrease toxic load? Like what was your belief into it?
Yeah, what happened? That was my first business, Freshclean, which is we work with cleaning, construction cleaning. And then when I was sick, I was wondering like what I'm doing working with all these chemicals, especially construction, which is it's hard to not use the chemicals doing construction cleaning. And then I met this guy, which he became my father in Australia, and he's a chemistry, and he produced all these chemicals. And I was having a chat with him, and I was sharing with him, what about if we create something natural? And then, well, he's 78 years old. He's like, no, friend, this is not gonna work. So I took kind of 2 years talking to him and convincing him about, let's do something natural. And having conversations with my mom, which is, back in the days, you wash things with very simple soap
Bicarb vinegar.
like how does it work? And then she was sharing with me a lot of things, and then I was sharing with him, and then he kind of got interested. He was like, but maybe. And then slowly, and then when I got sick, he become very close friend. He was, because I don't have my family here in Australia, so he become a very close friend. And then he was, okay, what about the idea? Do you think we should do? And yeah, and then he designed the formulas for me. He's a chemist, because we cannot just bring out a product, an idea to sell out there. We need to have someone to sign, a proper person to do that. So the idea was to transform all the products I was using for Freshclean into a natural brand. So detergent, laundry liquid. And then I started to study a lot about how does it work. Because before I got sick, I wasn't really aware, not at all, I would say. I was just doing it, right? And then when I started to do research about what chemicals cause in our body, and then all the detergent, laundry liquids, soap, they all really connect to our skin, which is our biggest organ. And then, yeah, that was really, I was like, no, I'm gonna make this in a different way. And now Freshclean, we still work with construction, and we only use natural. We don't use any chemical for any kind of project that we do. We only use Tepuy. That Tepuy becomes the label for Freshclean as well.
I mean, it's so people are, I think, getting more aware of, we talked about endocrine disruptors that are in our world, microplastics, things like that. And I think people are starting to see if there's a swap that they can do. And, humans we like things easy, so, but if it's easy, like if I'm buying cleaning products for my home, I only use natural. And it hasn't been a hard swap, do you know? Because now it's available. I just go out and buy it, and I now have it. I don't use the other one. So I think people are becoming more aware as these products like yours are hitting the market. It makes it easy. Like it's not like someone's asking us to go and make it up at our house. Like probably our parents' generation or the generation before used to probably make their own products, but we're not doing that. But I think as these products get more and more on the market, I think people are going to start, because the way we show power as consumers is by buying, right?
100%.
And so if you don't buy the crap, no one's going to produce the crap anymore. So I think it's so important to have products choice into the better products, because to me it's an easy choice. I have a choice to buy something that's like going to harm my system and my skin and my family, or I have a choice to do it in a clean way.
Yeah, 100%. And there is also a big misunderstanding about being organic and natural. Because what happened, I think, a few years ago, all this organic thing came out, and it's a lot of these organic brands which they are not natural, and which they are cheaper, or which that doesn't work. I've heard so many people say, yeah, but that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work because it's not natural. It's organic, and organic it's anything that comes from earth, right? It's not, it's different. Being green, organic, and natural, it's completely different. And what I see is a lot of brands, they sell, I don't know, laundry liquids for $4, and then doesn't work, and then sustainability becomes with Tepuy as well. We are natural and sustainable. So we produce, everything that we produce is concentrated. So if you have our 500 ml laundry elixir, you can have it for 60 laundries. So it's all this makes big difference when you, because especially for moms, what do you need? You need something that help you out. So if you get something that doesn't work, then you give up, that you go back to the easy thing. And then I do understand. This is why I also, in our social media page, we work a lot about introducing the product and explaining why you only need to use half pump of our ladder. It's a half pump. And when you come and say, oh, it's $44, but yeah, you can have 500 ml for 3 months, 4 months. So it's a lot of things in between of making these new choices.
I guess what's paired with it is education.
Yeah.
Which is what you're saying. People say, oh, but it's this price. But then if you look at the use or the cost per use, I think is probably the better way we should be. You know, at the supermarket, they have like unit price per litre. Well, maybe we should have like unit price per use so people could better compare.
And how to use as well. Because I was doing that for such a long time. We would just open the washing machine and we throw the liquid inside, and obviously we're gonna. But you don't need the laundry Tepuy laundry elixir. You just need one little lid, and that's it. It's gonna do the work. So it's really about learning more about how to use it.
How did, and if maybe it hasn't, but how did sound healing influence you starting the business, like Tepuy?
Oh, I think they came together.
Okay.
You know, they came together. It, yeah, again, was my healing journey. And obviously, sound healing really, as you're talking before, there's these different frequencies of sound that you work your levels, and then you work on your creativity. So acting and working on my creativity chakra, it helps me to create more and more. And it's not easy to start a label from scratch. I've heard so many things since I started. I still do. People come to me and say, "You're crazy. What are you doing? There are so many brands out there." But it's my passion. It's my passion. When you're doing what you love, it's really, working. It's just you're doing what you love.
Yeah. Obviously, you're very, as you said, passionate about what you do. But how do you share that, you're very connected to spiritual aspect to your life and your lifestyle? How do you maintain that balance while also running like a business, which is hard and demanding and can be difficult? Like, how do you maintain that balance between staying that true connected spiritual self and then hustling as for the business?
Well, yeah, I think probably the last 2 years, I'm pretty good with that. But before was very hard. But one thing that I really put through my life is rituals. So I wake up, before I open my eyes, I do my meditation. And then I go for a meeting or whatever, I have to go to the construction site or to the stores, stockists, whatever my day is. And then the middle of the day, I do my Pilates or an exercise. And all these breaks are very important, and really having a break. And then I always say that going for a coffee for half an hour with a friend, I feel more creative. Having all these, for me, is a quality, is a lifestyle. I don't have it to work 10 hours a day to really fulfill my heart and say, oh, wow, I've done 10 hours. I really go for things that make me full of love and also intention. Have an intention of doing whatever you're doing, being intentional of. So I keep this in mind every day.
I like that you mentioned the word like lifestyle. It's more of, that's kind of how I see my days. I think, when you're doing what you love, and maybe often you are an entrepreneur or a business person or a practitioner of some sort, you have the luxury of creating your own day sometimes,
Yes.
or a lot of the times. And you don't really count the hours anymore. So I just see my day, and I'm like you. I have rituals. Mine is I get up, I meditate / do the hypnotherapy now. I'll put on sound healing, the sound vibrations while I get ready. I then exercise in the mornings. It's how I like it. So I have my little rituals too. But then my day is like in and out of maybe sessions, or maybe working on my brand, or podcasting, or product designing things. It's always interwoven, or meeting up with a friend for a coffee. And you don't really look like, oh, I worked X amount of hours today. I just had my day, and then my daughter will come home, or we'll have dinner and bath and things like that. And it's just like it was my day and it flowed. It's not like I was at home, I went to work, I came home.
Routine?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm not good with it.
I know these coach people, they say, go to if you don't have a routine. I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me, because I don't feel good if I have to. I have to stay here and do something. No, I don't have to.
I always say you shouldn't, shouldn't be a word. I must. You don't must do anything. You don't must do anything. You choose.
Exactly.
Like, I must go to work. No, you choose to go to work. I must do this. No, it's all, you have a choice in everything you do. Yes, there's always
Exactly.
consequences, but must
Yeah.
is not a word.
It's always a consequence, but it's okay. I have a tattoo that say no risk, no magic, and yeah, that's what fulfill my heart.
With the sound healing, just as we talked a little bit what it was about, what are some benefits that people can see from doing it? Because I do think it's a practice that is, like, a lot of people know about meditation now. Not as many people seem to know about sound healing when I talk to people. What are some benefits? Obviously, you've healed a physical ailment. What are some other things people might turn to sound healing, or you have seen people use it for?
I think the biggest benefit in a space, let's say, is your first time doing sound healing, it will really get you out of your mind. I usually do group sound healing, and I see, these people come to talk to me, and then what they say, what they share with me is that they never felt something like this. They never were able to not think. I think this is the biggest, one of the huge benefits of sound healing, taking you in a very calm state of mind. And there are so many people that they really fell asleep. I had a group sound healing 2 weeks ago, and then there is this beautiful couple, they came together the first time, and they fell asleep. I put everything away, and then I had to wake up them. And they're so cute. They're like, oh my God, it's really something that take you out there. And plus depression, anxiety, and all these sickness which people believe that is normal. It's okay to have. So I really talk about this. You can come and then look at it and then find a way to step out of the box, step out of the medications and then all this process. And my mom, she was in a deep depression for 36 years, and then we heal her with sound healing. She went out of medication 4 years ago, and we're just doing sound healing. I was doing sound healing for her through video calls. So it's so many, it's 1,000 benefits, but I think the most important one is when you come for the first time is that you are able to get out of your mind.
I did a sound healing recently with my best friend. There was like the bowls and their stuff, and it was the first time I'd done a group one. And I know you've saying a few things about especially the group one. I must admit, both of us felt, and as I said, I do sound frequencies every day and I meditate every day, but I reached such a deep relaxation there. Like it was so deep. And my girlfriend who she I don't think she'd ever done sound healing before. She's not really a meditator, but it had a very profound effect on her as well. We both were just like, and we both just said to each other afterwards, we need to do this more. Is there something different that happens in the group setting?
Look, I don't work with one-on-one because exactly what you say. When you're in a group, the vibration, you're together, you have others to hold the space for you. It becomes one thing, one itself.
Yeah.
It's very powerful, everything that is done in group. And it's if we look back, ancestors, they always do things in a group, in the big groups, because it has the vibration, the levels of vibration. It's in a different
I definitely
frequency.
felt the difference being in a group. It's funny because, with my sessions in the BDSM world, I really want to start putting my sound frequencies on during a session. But I'm like, because they have an option, you can either listen just to the sound frequency, which is like it's a bit weird if you don't know what it is, or you can have like a nature thing running where you can't really hear it. So just you sound. So I'm like, because normally I have music on, like kind of some sort of like actual music. But I'm like, I wonder if they'd notice if I just randomly put on, because I'm like, this would be really good for my type of sessions because of what the work we're doing, like with energy and space and things. I'm like, sound healing would couple really well with BDSM. So I so want to bring it together. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that somehow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
For you, what does success look like? With your brand, with your business, with you as a person, what does success look like?
Success. To do what I love. I can't follow the rules. I can't do anything that, even though in my daily basis, if I don't feel like to do something, I have to stop doing it. If it's creating something for Tepuy or creating an event for Cura, but it's really to be with my true self. This is success. And so far, I would say that so far to be success is to connect with money.
I think it's a blessing when you can do what you love, as we said, but also to be your authentic self doing what you love.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of guts sometimes. And I think, you mentioned your tattoo about risk. The magic comes from taking risk. And I think sometimes it is a risk to be authentically you in what you do. So
It is. And then when you decided to be authentic, it's a lot of judgment around. It's a lot of, you decided to step out of the box. But this is the game, right? If you really wanna do what you love and what you feel like to do. You don't have a space for judgments or people that judge you. And then also I think a lot of empathy, because not everyone are ready to go through what we go through, because a lot of courage. And then I went broke many times. I didn't have money for quite a few times, and then my parents, yes, you going nuts? And I'm like, yes, I am going nuts, but always with the belief that things will come out. And then it's intention. When you do something with intention, it just turns around and happens. But it's a risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you use meditation in your practice? Sorry, not meditation, manifestation. So your intention to where you're going, is it something you've
All
manifested?
my practice
With your wellness or sound healing, do you use it?
I have a very deep connection with manifestation that sometimes it kind of scares me, because I'm really working on it for quite a few years. I have a friend that she's a meditation teacher, and she's a big master on manifestation, and I've learned so much with her. And yeah, 100%. I do manifest every day, every single day. I wake up, and then did you know small things? Like you go through to find a park spot, and then you say, I'm gonna have this parking spot in front of the place there because I'm late. And then right away you have the parking spot waiting for you. So yeah, manifestation, it's such a beautiful work. I think everyone should work more and more on that, instead of just complaining and saying that all things doesn't work out for me. Yeah, 100%. And in my sound healing practice, which I do a group sound healing, I always talk about manifestation, because it's a very powerful practice. It's an everyday practice.
I really believe we create our reality, and that's manifestation. And it's funny, I used to manifest without realizing I was manifesting from a very young age. I used to, whenever I really, really wanted something, I would always get it. Why? Because I was manifesting it so much. And sometimes I used to manifest things that weren't right for me. So then I had to learn you got to be careful about what you manifest.
Yes.
But it's funny you said about the parking, because my mum used to say she was a lucky parker, and me and my sister say we inherited it. So we are, like, wherever we go, we get parks. It's our thing. But it's because we believe it, right? So wherever we go, but I'm like, it's just because we manifest. It's not like we're lucky parkers. It's just we've manifested it. But I thought it was funny you brought that one up.
Yes, we put the intention out there. I think manifestation it's about putting the energy out there. You put the energy out there, and then everything is energy. When people understand that everything is energy, your life will change.
Definitely. How can people at home align their life to live with passion and purpose? Are there any steps that helped you really align yourself to do what you believed in, or live, at least, even if it's not in their work, maybe it's in their life, their outside of work? How can they live with passion and purpose?
I think trusting. Life is a process. It's not easy. It's always up, and it's a roller coaster, I say. It's always a roller coaster. Especially in Australia. In Australia, the energy is so up and down. One day you're great, and the next day it's a mess, and then you don't even know how. The energy in Australia is so powerful. It's beautiful for opportunity. But for me, trusting. Trust everything that you want, and then do not give up. Do not give up, because people give up. They don't trust themselves, and it needs a lot of work. It's a self-awareness. Trusting in ourselves is a self-awareness. It just bring awareness every day, and then question yourself. Like, do I want this? Do I want to go there? And then I do a lot of work with meditation, through meditation. Why I'm doing this? Why I want to go there? It's a lot of awareness, but trusting. Trust is the big thing. And then facing fear. Facing fear. When you face fear, you see that you just go through fear. Because fear is something that really stops us. With fear, I think it's also about culture as well. Fear is something. Oh my God, I'm fear of the no. Another thing is the no. We have the no already. So what is after the no? I've done theta healing. I've done theta healing. I work with theta healing for a little bit, but I've done theta healing for myself. I've learned theta healing for myself, which you go in a very deep level of belief. And this is our beliefs. We believe that we fear of things. Is a belief that we do not trust ourselves because someone from our childhood, or there's a lot of things behind and around. But when you work and trust yourself and face fear, what is worse? Theta healing talks about this. What worse of this? What's the worst if that thing happened, whatever it is? So it's trust and facing.
I work a lot with self-limiting beliefs, which sounds similar. And so when I work with people, we will go into what their self-limiting beliefs are. And we all have them. And they might come from when we were young, a teacher, a parent, society, ourselves, some come from. And then really exploring, like, where does this come from? Why do I have this self-limiting belief? And then the work is to get out of it. Because, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this, comes from somewhere. And it's a self-limiting belief that we have, which is stopping you from reaching your full potential.
Exactly. And it's painful to look at things and watch yourself and say, oh my God, I am here. I'm at here, and then I have to face this, to go through. It's painful, but again, it's empathy to yourself, and then be passionate about everything.
But I think the payoff is when you come out the other side.
Exactly.
Because it's not easy. And as you say, to get to these points, you have to go through a lot of, trauma work, shadow work, self-limiting beliefs, whatever work you need to go through. And it's not easy. And
no.
Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. But the payoff at the end is it's a very unique feeling to feel empowered in knowing yourself and trusting yourself, as you said, and sticking it out.
Yes, and also you're talking about hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is a beautiful practice because hypnotherapy works in the future. You fix, because a lot of practices works a lot of in the past. And we needed to be aware with this, because working in the past is a very big work, and then you can really get into a deep level of depression, and then maybe you're not ready to work in the past. Maybe you don't even need it to work in the past, because what we have is only the now. Who proves that we have it to work in the past? So hypnotherapy is a beautiful practice because it moves the beliefs, and then what's the future? Where do you want to go? And this is exactly what you say. Like, you go through, you see what's happening next. If you see yourself where you want to go, it's a big achievement already.
What are some simple steps that people can take to start living more sustainable? No, I can say the word now.
To live sustainable. Well, I would say the first thing, ask yourself, do I need to buy whatever it is? Just ask yourself, question yourself before you get your credit card or whatever it is. Do I need that? Because it's really related, buying, it's really related with our emptiness. We are empty. So we need more and more and more. But to be sustainable, I have a book, a small book in my table, which is say this simple steps of being sustainable. And then being sustainable is just buy secondhand. buy secondhand, and then watch your how much food you have on your cupboard, how much food have you eaten on your fridge, and before you go to the supermarket, make sure that you eat everything that you have on your fridge.
I'm really good at that one. My fridge is always empty, but I don't think that's the reason why.
And another thing is to be sustainable, do babysitting for your best friend. Babysit the kids of your friends and small things. Sustainability comes from a very simple space.
Also sounds like it also creates a bit of a community, as you said, it like, babysit for your friends. Like that reminded me of community. And then I thought, sustainability probably is quite linked to community and being sustainable and sharing and things like that.
Yeah. Another thing that it's very into sustainability is when you move out, you make sure that you give away. You don't need to sell everything, but you give away, even though to your friends. Give something. Giving is a big part of sustainability. Sharing. Yeah.
What is the future of Tepuy?
Oh my God. Well, having a project that we call sustainable, it's a big thing, right? Because we produce all these bottles, and then I got to the point I was like, oh my God, we are producing bottles, and people will come back to us to refill. Are they gonna do this because they're busy? Normal life. We try to introduce the 25 liters to our stockists. It's a bit hard because the stores they don't have much space. And then we have an idea which will come next year, which is for Australia, it's so different. But it's 100% sustainable. I can't share yet.
Exciting.
But the idea of Tepuy is not to sell products, is to sell the experience, is to really go through sustainability, to be sustainable, to make sure that we create a strategy that is easier for our people that buy, and then for us as well, that we're really engaging with creating awareness, like teaching people how to do small steps, and then slowly bringing this idea of back of the days, producing not 500 but producing 2 liters, but still making people understand that the 2 liters will last for 3 months. So yeah, something new coming up soon.
It's exciting. Well, it's so lovely to meet another business owner who is so passionate about what they do, and you literally radiate the passion that you have for both your businesses. It's beautiful to see. And thank you for sharing the education and empowering people with better choices going forward in their life. So interesting to see where you take it. Pimp yourself out. Let people know where they can find more about your businesses.
Well, we have on our website, we have all our stockists around Sydney, Gold Coast, Byron Bay. You also can buy online. We have an online shop. And I have a studio in Maroubra, in my house, where you can message us and you can come around and see our process.
Beautiful. We'll put all the links down below, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And as always, those at home, stay kinky.